the Chill Draft League, the CDL.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, this team looks very mixed bag to me, which isn't necessarily a bad
Same.
thing. It doesn't look like a bad thing, but
Well, I would say one other thing stands out for me, and that's bulky offense. Like, Galarian Rapidash isn't the bulkiest, but they're kind of thicker than like fast Pokemon in general. And uh, Suicune epitomizes
bulk.
thickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gudra, especially on the special side, but on the physical side, like the stats are still fully reasonable. Rillaboom, especially on the physical side, has some bulk. Really good historically assault vest user, and Rotom has low HP, but the defense and special defense are both over 100, so like that's really quite solid. Stakataka is a unit and is built like one. So there's and I would say Scrafty also really
95s,
quite
yeah.
bulky and intimidate.
Yeah.
So like yeah, so I'm really liking that as a strong point. Just a lot of bulk here. There's a bit of fast support. I like a fast icy one, which is immune to fake out. There is a tailwind option, prankster option. There is a slow trick room setter here. Um, However, like aside from Stack Attacka, I'm not seeing a Trick Room Sweeper.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we agreed on as well. Like we see Stakataka,
Yeah.
kind of going off as it does. If it has the right matchup, obviously, fighting and ground is not exactly what it wants to see. I think having
No.
Levitate and Flying Mons around, which is kind of nice, and you got Rillaboom as a switch in for the ground and things like that. Yeah, I
True.
think adding a Trick Room Sweeper would probably be the way to go. It's kind of hard to find one in the D tier. I think having Suicune is really nice with Tailwind. It's a very reliable way of getting Tailwind up. Like Suicune with Mental
With
Herb.
Inner Focus.
Yeah, Inner
Yeah.
Focus can't be faked out, and then it's got Mental Herb on it if you choose to do so. It's really hard to stop this thing from setting Tailwind. So I think that's a really good way, which also makes Unpheasant a little bit of an excess. So it's kind of hard to make a D
Yeah.
tier swap and have a major impact, but there are a lot of slow offensive mons that didn't quite make the cut on some people's rosters. So I think in this case, I think it could be actually quite beneficial by just making a simple change. Maybe even your
Yeah.
the Flygon, but Flygon does kind of keep that fast mode going. But I think
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Flygon is a fan favorite, and I think it's well deserved. The design is really cool. I like the area in which you catch the Trapinch. Trapinch, Vibrava, and Flygon all have really different designs, which I think is also cool.
Hmm.
Uh, Flygon has a bit of history in our draft league, and I gotta admit, it really colors my perception of Flygon in draft league. I think, yes, the team's average speed goes way down if Flygon goes out for Trick Room Sweeper, but I would say the same thing is true of Umphazant. Umphazant is a fast max airstreamer, which I think is a plus for sure. Flygon is not. Flygon has Levitate for ground immunity, but so does Umphazant. And so I would probably take out the Flygon. Um, I don't know off the top of my head what the best Trick Room Sweepers are in C tier who are still available,
Yeah, they're probably, and that's
but
another thing too. I think value in a tier is definitely something to consider when you're
mm,
making a move. Because like, okay,
always.
I could make an argument if I own this team saying that I'd probably go in the D tier and grab something, but at the same time, if you can get a better Trick Room Mon in the C tier, you're gonna obviously have better Mons because
Yeah.
they're tiered accordingly. I think Steelix is in there, which I think might not fit exactly on this team, but you know what I mean. There's something that's a little threatening
Yeah.
on the Trick Room side that's a little better than the D tier has to offer. But one thing actually stands out on this team that I actually didn't look at or even mention to you when we were talking about this. It's just funny when you look at a roster a second time or a third time, you're just like, oh yeah, that's actually really neat. Is the synergy between Gudra and Scrafty. With 150
Oh.
special defense, this thing won't die if you have a -1 attack on the
Uh,
other side of the
right,
field.
right, right, right.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously Gudra suffers from a little bit of offense, but I think it has the move pool to be successful, and it also
Mm.
longevity on the field is also a nice characteristic to have as well. So Gudra, I'm actually looking forward to seeing Gudra. I know that he was talking it up in the chat. I think it was player chat. He was saying how good it was, and I was like,
Mm.
we'll see. I see Ice Shard next to it in the C tier with the Frostlass as well, so you can activate that weakness
Right.
policy. So I think I see a lot of options on this team. I think it's pretty good. And not to mention Meowstic, which is basically poor man's Whimsicott. But do different things.
Hmm.
But yeah, again, I think this is just a solid roster. Again, Rillaboom we haven't even mentioned, but we could go all day long about Pokemon because we love it so much.